So about a month ago, I sold a pair of boots that externally, superficially, were in what I describe as fair condition. The reason I describe them as fair condition is because they had some spots, some stains. They originally belonged to my mom. They collected hella dust. Whatever material that is some kind of sway that it just likes to attract lint and overall debris. Is just one of those things that you have to be patient with. So in my listing, I described it as in fair condition, were in storage for a long time. They are dusty, be patient with them. However, they have been barely worn because if you examine the sole, the outsole, they really were not worn very much. And I know that for an absolute fact because with mom and her feet and bones and legs and knees the way they are, this type of boot is heavy duty. It's oil resistant, it's waterproof, and I don't think it was steel toe, but you can just feel how sturdy they are externally. And I remember when she got these, they had a little bit of superficial damage as well, just a little bit of scratches and stuff because I have moved a lot. And of course, that's just natural wear that comes to anything that you own. At some point, everything's gonna have a scratch or something. That little scrape, I made sure to picture it. I picture everything from every angle and I point out the flaws. I shine a flashlight on everything so that any flaws are highlighted even further so I don't miss anything. Ultimately, I ended up selling them for super cheap. This person did not pay the original price on them. I had them for about a price in which I would make $4. She ended up making a move on them by giving herself a $2 discount. So I ended up making only $2 on those little ass boots. Well, today she reaches out and she says, "Hi, I purchased these last month. They looked as they do in the picture. So I pretty much kept the order with no problem. But the boot soles fell off after I wore them for less than an hour. The platform that I used to sell has not been helpful, so I wanted to reach out to you to see if you would be open to offering a refund. Please shoot me a message when you can." And this is the thing you have to understand about me as a seller that uses a platform. The platform has its rules, and the rules are sales are final unless you can prove within the time frame that you have that there is something wrong with them at the time of sale. And with shoes, me personally, you guys know me, I have said it before and I will officially say it again. Used shoes are something that I would never ever consider for myself, in the same manner that I would never buy a used car, because it's one of those things that mileage affects it and you truly do not have a way of knowing the mechanical and maintenance problems that it has until you start using it. With these shoes, I looked at them and I said, I'm going to, on behalf of mom, lose on these because of their condition. Superficially, they didn't look very good. And I don't think they were particularly old, but it's evident that something happened with these shoes in general. And if superficially I describe them as being fair in condition, it's because I wasn't giving it a utmost vote of confidence, utter confidence. So if you're investing in a pair of shoes like this, and despite being described as waterproof and oil resistant and sturdy and all that, you just have to assume that given that superficially they have suffered a little bit, that internally there's going to be some kind of ticking time bomb going on as well. That's my assumption. And because I'm actually a smart person, I know that shoes tend to decay even when you don't wear them. Even if you have never worn a pair of shoes before, the materials in them just break down even in storage. But what I find about people nowadays is they want to have zero responsibility. I, as a seller, feel like I did my very best to describe these shoes. I couldn't personally wear them, but I examined them, I evaluated them, I didn't see anything that would indicate that they were going to fall apart within a wear or something. And given their superficial condition, what did this person do with them? So it's possible that this person submitted this pair of shoes to an activity that they really were not in the condition for. And just because the outer sole looks fine, it doesn't mean that the shoe itself is just going to function properly, just function well. I just told her the truth. I said, well, just so you know, with these, unfortunately, according to the platform, all sales are final. So there really isn't anything I can do on my part. I'm sorry. Because once I sell something, I'm not waiting for it to come back. All sales are final. All sales are final means exactly what it sounds like. If you were to go in person to a thrift store and buy these shoes and they fall apart on you and they sold them to you for $2, then that's it. It's over. All sales are final. Whatever condition you buy something, that's just what you get. And remember, naturally, used shoes have flaws, but older shoes that have been used or not used, they do have the aging problem too. Shoes are just that type of thing that are going to fall apart on you. They're just going to. She replied back saying, "That's really disappointing. The boots were dry rotted and should not have been sold. Please verify that the products you offer are at the very least functional." And I'm like, but bitch, they are functional. But I don't know what you did or how you wore them to where this happened. And remember, I sold them to you to where I only made $2 on them. And I described and showed you pictures of their condition. So you can assume that they're not going to be optimal for long-term use. Even if they fell apart on you in under an hour, had you worn them before? Is this your first time wearing them since a month ago? I think that when you receive something like this, you need to at least try it. Try it for a little bit. But at the same time, I would discourage that, because let's say that I sell you this pair of shoes with a jacket, and then you go exercise very rigorously and very evidently they begin to fall apart on you, and then you try to return them as if I sold them to you damaged, despite me evidencing that when they shipped out to you they were fine. Then see what I mean? Like, I really don't want people to have multiple days to be able to really wear this down to the thread and then be like, there was something wrong with it. That's why all sales are final, and I'm happy that the platform does that. And if it makes her feel any better, in the past I have made purchases myself, and it turns out that I caught a flaw on them way after I approved it. In no way did I try to reach out to the seller and be like, actually, I found a stain on these that I hadn't noticed before. And then I said, well, this is how I found it. I happened to notice it while I was folding it after receiving it. And then I said, oh man, I'm noticing it now, because at the time that I approved it, it was cloudy, and then today it's sunny. And when I look at them with brightness and even shine my flashlight on them, it turns out that, yeah, there was a stain in there. So what I did was I just told her, hey, just to give you a heads up, I ended up finding a flaw in them. I'm not upset. I just wanted to offer to you my personal technique as a seller myself that I perform to ensure that flaws that may not be easy to catch are highlighted. I shine a flashlight. Trust me. Just trust me. Especially on dark garments or garments that have something like a floral print or some kind of pattern to where it's multiple colors and the flaw happens to be a color that would blend well with your fabric design. Then shine a flashlight and that oddity is just going to pop right out. And some of us have vision issues. I thought that I would share this story, and I don't know how you guys feel about it. I understand her frustration. I understand her disappointment. I don't want for it to seem to look like I wasn't willing to do anything. It's just that this transaction was performed under this platform. This platform has rules. I'm only the boss to a certain extent. I can only determine how much I can let go an item for, what I let you have, stuff like that. But when it comes to issuing refunds, that's out of my control. I don't have a refund button. And even if I did, this happened a month ago. The process has been done. I don't want the shoes back. That's why I was selling them in the first place, so that I don't want them. You want them, so you take them. So now maybe consider taking them to a shoe repair, and you can get the value out of them if they have a remedy. Or if not, then just throw them away. They're your property now. I think that refunds in this country are a big issue. I think people are just spoiled by things like Amazon and how they have like an infinite refund policy that is definitely starting to mess with them now, and they want to do something about it. But when you buy from what you could consider thrifting, you have to understand why those platforms have the rules that they have in place. And with me, if it would have been my personal business directly from me, I would have said, I can understand that. And I also know that their condition was not optimal. But remember, they were disclosed as used, they weren't new, and let's do some research together. Let's learn about the decay of items. And yesterday I had a Karen who debated me over the price of some meat, because the meat that she picked up, someone, probably a customer, must have put them back on the wrong spot. And the reason I say that is because the department did stock them properly. There were just 2 of these items that were in the wrong spot. And I'm pretty sure that it was someone saw that the price was too high, because they don't read, they changed their mind, and they just threw them back on the shelf, as opposed to actually carefully examining them and making sure that they're gonna go back in the respective spot. So this lady came up to my line and she went through the trouble of taking a picture of the tag, which the item on the sticker was described as beef. The item that she was trying to buy was described as bison. Bison is going to be significantly more expensive than beef. Well, when she showed me the picture and I zoomed in to the tag, I said, oh, this is for beef. So the price is correct on the register for these items. And then she started arguing with me. She was like, well, I think that you should honor the price. And I'm like, I could consider honoring one of the 3 that you have, but there's nothing wrong here. And then she was like, but you have 2 rows of these items back there, and therefore I think that you should honor it. And at that point, had I not been so busy, I would have physically walked back there and examined it, because I know that we have dumbasses out there who do not put back items where they belong. We as workers make sure to stock the items where they belong. And a department like meat department, they are small and definitely more vigilant about that type of thing. They're breaking down a truck. At the time that they're breaking down a truck, they won't be able to police, let alone think about the fact that there are dumbasses out there who simply do not know how to match items to the respective spot. And another way that I can reinforce what I'm saying is, I was at the gym, I want to say it was last Thursday, and this fucking stupid ass little girl looking bitch put up her weights where mine were going. I had the 2 15-pound dumbbells, and for some reason she put the 25-pound dumbbell where the 15-pound dumbbell goes. So what I did was I set mine down on the floor. I pretty much slid by her as aggressively as I could non-verbally, grabbed hers, re-racked them, and then put mine where they belong. You people are stupid and idiots. With the shoe lady, in my case, is you're stupid for buying shoes that If you look at the pictures, I would show you guys, but like I have said before, I'm not going to artificially promote my page. If you want something, I want you to think about it, imagine it, see it, and buy it if you find it. I'm not going to push my product in your face. With this shoe lady, if you saw that these shoes had a damage already, and you clearly cannot live with them in a damaged state, don't buy them. I would never buy shoes that are fucked up. In fact, I don't buy used clothes that don't look nice. Anyway, I made a rule that shoes, for example, are something I'm never going to buy used. Period. Shoes are going to have flaws when used because they hit the ground, and there's all kinds of things on the ground. So be a little bit accountable. And remember, all I made on these fucking shoes was just $2 $2. But for her, it probably cost her around 12 because she has to pay for the shipping and stuff. So like, what are you fighting for? What are you fighting for? Seriously. You really want to go to hell and make back some $12 that you spent 1 month ago? What are you going to say? I have had people come to customer service and return items like supplements that expired last year and they were unopened. And for supplements to expire, they usually have a 2-year half-life. Like it takes 2 years from the sale date or the manufacturer date that's on the bottle. I forget how it goes. But usually, if I were to sell you vitamin C today, it won't expire until 2 years from now. And the bottom of the bottle sometimes may have the manufacturer date, something like that. I don't know. I just know that supplements tend to take years to expire. It's at least 2 years. Even my protein powders. I have had some from like last year and they still haven't expired. Do you want to get a refund for the expired stuff that you forgot about and you couldn't see in your cabinet and you think that you're entitled to your money back because you did not have the organizational skills to consume your item before it goes bad on you? No! So, again, I don't know how you guys look at this. Hopefully you guys are smart and you don't buy used shoes. The only reason I list them is because, again, I know that I can let them go for cheap, and I have sold shoes before that were in a similar condition and people never came back to me and tell me that they had a problem with it. Or maybe they did run into the problem, they faced it like mature adults and they said, you know what, I was able to enjoy these shoes for however long I could until realistically their age and condition showed. I did my part, which was provide a listing that was very detailed and it highlighted the most important things. There are some people who, if you try to buy from them, they'll be like, good condition. And that's it. That's all they tell you, because you have to obligatory supply a description. So that's all they'll say. Or sometimes they'll be like, size medium. And that's it. That's all they put down in that section. I actually take the time to take more than 2 pictures. Some people only take 1 fucking picture. I take the time to provide anywhere between 8 to 10 pictures and many different angles. I show you its functionality, all of that. I did my work. So maybe you have to do your work of what you value. So maybe consider buying shoes brand new and then let my shoes just rot in my storage until I decide that, you know what, it's been long enough that they've been listed. So I'll either run a sale in which I make $1 on them, which I have done before, or I just take them to the thrift store. But again, you have to be smart as a consumer. I don't think I scammed anybody. Remember, I only made $2. So in a sense, I lost more probably on the gas and possibly the packaging by using my tape, finding a box, and printing the label, which is about 11-ish cents. So if we think about it critically, I made less than $2. I probably made $1, $1.50 on this sale. So really, you really want to fight me over $1.50? But again, I'm actually smart. I think about things critically, and that's why there's No way that I fight for refunds on things that are trivial. Sometimes you'll lose. But anyways, you guys, that's my opinion. Thank you so much for tuning in. Just know that if for whatever reason you were to sell me something that's used, I'm not going to trip. And I like to give everything a very fair shot. Now, if I were to buy something from you, let's say that I buy a jacket from you and you only show me the frontal appearance of it, and I ask you, are there any flaws? And you say no, but I received the item and in the back there's a hole, then if I express my disappointment and wish to return, first of all, the platform is going to err on my side. And second of all, I would hope you understand that you gotta show me the back of it as well. And if I asked you for flaws, then you should disclose it. But you might argue, you never asked for photos of the item from the back. And I'm saying, well, if you didn't disclose a flaw, why would I need to ask if there's something hiding in the back? But again, as an intelligent person, I will only make a purchase from an individual who has done the work, good work of providing all of that picture, and I can independently examine it and make my own decision. See what I mean? You just have to be picky. And if this happens to be the only person selling the item that you envision, ask them, interview them, be like, could you possibly post more photos? I just want to make sure that the back looks like what I'm imagining it to. Because what if the back happens to be a different color? What if it has an emblem? What if it has polka dots and you don't see it? To me, I don't think I did anything shady or anything bad here, but I just want to also acknowledge that I do understand how she feels. But when it comes to A, the platform, B, the powers that I don't have, and C, the fact that I did my job at describing this as pieces of trash and I showed you on the photo and you still went with it, then at that point I think you gotta be responsible. Again, the shoes are not personally my size. You know that on my page I have varying sizes. I have some 6s, some 7s, some that belong to me, which would be size 10. I have some men's items. Clearly I won't be able to fit into a men's size 13, something like that. Just use your common sense. If you buy stuff from a thrift store and you see on the receipt that all sales are final, do you still try to go back and fight them? If your answer is no, I am no different. I just remembered something that I didn't get to tell you guys. I'm going to show you how much of a nice seller and overall just nice person I actually am. I have sold shoes that I have absolutely worn down to the thread. I mean, absolutely trash, bad condition. I listed them for a price in which I would be making only $5 on shoes that I spent $48 on. They are one of those camo shoes that you guys tend to compliment me on when I make videos about my leggings. Basically, I had the sibling to those, a different color. This is how I described them. I said they're in fair condition. They were worn and loved a lot, but they still have some mileage in them. And then I said that they don't have any holes. They have dirt spots, of course, here and there. Give them a try. Become the most popular person in the room, because trust me, I have never gotten more compliments on shoes ever in my life than when I wore these. That's it. Like, I know that those shoes were popular because many people hit the like button on them and people in person would compliment me on them a lot. But camo is one of those things that it doesn't necessarily look good on anybody. So because I worn the fuck out of them, they were on the way out, they had very little mileage left in them, I said, hey, give them a try for the sake of style, for the sake of you exploring, but you don't want to commit to spending $50 like I did. So this is your opportunity to spend only about $14 on them with shipping and shit. You get to enjoy whatever little bit of life they have left. And you can also determine if this is a size that would work for you. Boom! That person sold it to them. Did they ever come back to me and say, your fucking shoes fell apart? No! So, I'm not a thief here. This does not affect my perception of myself or my confidence as a seller in any way. I did my job. You just aren't good at asking questions. This lady who bought these boots, she never asked me a damn thing. You just took what I said and you were okay with it. But if you have high expectations and a high bar, that's on you.